Hello, the Daleks, the first monsters created by Doctor Who to become a phenomenal success.
Yes, they were immensely popular with the public, and the Daleks hooked an audience of more than 8 million viewers and ensured the success of the series for years to come.
But we take a breather from this story now as we explore some of the things that go to make up the popularity of the Doctor Who series and the obsession of the fans who follow it.
Yes, next we have for you a rare American documentary, Doctor Who's Who's Who, and here's a chance to meet no less than 4 doctors.
After the last hour of diving into Doctor Who mania with plenty of behind-the-scenes revelations, it's time to return to the Daleks story, which of course was first transmitted 27 years ago.
If you remember, we'd just had 3 episodes of this story in which the Daleks made their very first appearance when we took a breather for Doctor Who's Who's Who. Well, the Doctor and his crew have captured a Dalek and removed its inner workings. Ian has occupied its shell and is masquerading as a Dalek, not realising that what they've removed is...
That was a fabulous piece of television history there as the Daleks made their dramatic debut. And 2 of the Doctor's companions, Russell Enoch and Carole Ford, are with us again now. Had either of you any idea of the impact that that story would have on the viewers? Carole?
Absolutely none, no. And when we saw these strange creatures, we thought they were terribly funny.
The Daleks?
Yes, yes, we didn't think they were at all frightening, wasn't it?
What about you then, Russell?
Yes, I think because, of course, they didn't have their tops on
Yes.
when we saw them. So we saw the actors sitting in the Daleks, peddling them around the studio. So that was very comic.
It wouldn't be very frightening, really, would it?
But when they put the top on and filmed it, it was...
And it was the voice,
scary.
wasn't it?
And it was
That
the combination of the voice, Peter's voice, with the Daleks. Yes, I think those 2 things added it up.
And the Daleks were supposed to be the thing that all of a sudden brought all this attention to Doctor Who. Did you both find that, briefly?
Oh, yes. That's
Very
certainly
much so,
true.
yes, absolutely.
Absolutely true.
And
Yes, I mean, I can remember going out and buying an Evening Standard and finding a cartoon of General de Gaulle as a Dalek.
Oh, really?
And when I saw that, I came in to see
Well,
Bill
if that
and
doesn't
said, well, that's
say
it. That's
yeah,
it.
if that doesn't say it, nothing does. Thanks. Now, John, what's next?
Well, we've got a fascinating 2-part story now, which features just the 4 members of the original regular cast. And it's set entirely aboard the TARDIS. And this time we learn a great deal more about the Doctor in this adventure, as up to now he's been very much an enigma. It was written by the series' first script editor, David Whittaker, and first shown in 1964, The Edge of Destruction.
Welcome back. Now, have we got a major treat in store for you? Sadly, not every Doctor Who story was kept on tape, and many were lost. Among those most missed by fans were the stories involving the Yeti monsters. Just a couple of episodes remain, and we'll show those in a few minutes. But with us now is the writer and creator of the Yetis, Mervyn Haisman. Mervyn, where do the Yetis come from?
Well, Tibet, really.
But, I mean, inside you, what inspired the Yeti idea?
Well, the idea of a monster that initially looked very cuddly and friendly and had this fearsome force when turned on by the intelligence.
Well, I know the Yetis were one of my favourite creatures in Doctor Who.
Really?
Yeah, I thought they were very cuddly. But it's very sad that these episodes have got lost. How did it happen?
I think the BBC was going through a time of penny pinching and just wiped some of the tapes.
And how many are left now? Just 2?
Just the 2.
How does it make you feel as a writer?
Very sad.
Are they kind of one of your favourite creations? Ian?
Well, yeah, they are. I managed to see one a little while ago, and I looked at it and I thought, hey, that's not bad.
And what else was it about the Yetis, though? I mean, I can't remember them that well now because we've lost all the episodes. Tell us some of the things that we've lost.
Oh, gosh, well, you had the Padmasambhava, a lot of the wonderful characters, Tomney, as I say, Padmasambhava, they've all gone.
Among your favourites?
I think Wolfe Morris as Padmasambhava was a lovely character.
Well, I think JNT here has now got the details of what's going to come on next, haven't you?
Yes, I have. We're going to move forward now to 1967 for what we're calling the Yeti rarities. First, we have episode 2 of a 6-part story about the Yeti, another of Doctor Who's classic monsters. Sadly, as we've said, that's all that remains of this story, which was junked many years ago. Now, the episode we're going to see was returned to the archives by a private collector to whom we're eternally grateful, and it's the first time it has been shown since its original transmission. Now, also watch out for companion Deborah Watling's father, Jack, as Professor Travers in The Abominable Snowmen. Well, for those of you who are dying to know what happened at the end of The Abominable Snowmen, the Doctor manages to immobilize the Yeti, who are, in fact, fur-covered robots. And he defeats the great intelligence who's controlling them through the body of the High Lama. And yes, Professor Travers does find a real Yeti in the end, and it's harmless. Well, joining me now is Nick Courtney, who for many years has played the Brigadier in the programme. Nick, we're about to see your first story, The Web of Fear. Happy memories?
Yes, except I wasn't in the first episode. I think the Colonel, as he was then, rather than the Brigadier, appeared in episode 2, as I remember. And I also remember that Debbie and the Doctor, and Fraser, are very suspicious of this man. They kept on saying, who's the Colonel? So I appear to be rather sinister to start with. Of course, it ends up that someone playing my sergeant is the great intelligence, and who is the villainous character. But I also remember about The Web of Fear, which Douglas Camfield directed. It was all set in the London Underground, and
the sets are rather impressive, I think. I was looking
the sets were very good, and it was done in Lime Grove, and so carefully had Douglas done it that he shot them from different angles that London Transport rang up and said, how dare you film in the London Underground without our permission? But in point of fact, we hadn't, in point of fact. It was rather clever camera work and extremely sort of intelligent use of the camera.
Well, marvellous. Let's have a look at it now. Time now for episode 1 of The Web of Fear, the only remaining episode. And do watch out again for Jack Watling as Professor Travers, though his character has aged somewhat.